This video is called, is the new Kindle Scribe better for writers than an iPad? And that is so close to being a perfect example of Betteridge's Law. Is Elvis a librarian in Jersey? Is the UK economy in good shape? Betteridge's Law, you might know it under some different names, but I was taught it as Betteridge's Law. Betteridge's Law of Headlines says that if the headline or the title of a piece is a question, then the answer that comes in the article or the video that follows is always no. Only, just for once, it might not be quite true in this case. Is the new Kindle Scribe better for writers than an iPad? I don't think so. But then, I'm actually really surprised because my first reaction was that I've really fancied one when it was announced, and then two, Kindle Scribe isn't even out yet, so you haven't got one to actually try. It's just that as appealing as it is, what you and I can already know for certain about the new Kindle Scribe makes me suspect we shouldn't buy one. Hello, I'm William Gallagher and this is 58 Keys, which as ever, as always, really, seriously, is for writers like you and me who use and who write on Macs and on iPhones and on iPads. Don't see Kindle in that list anywhere. Do subscribe though, because there's always so much to talk about. And there's this bell thing, you know. Like I say, we don't usually talk about Kindles, you and I, but mostly because I think you spotted a Kindle isn't a Mac and it isn't an iPhone. As for the iPad, there actually is an overlap. There are reasons to prefer a Kindle to an iPad. And also, since you and I are writers, we are automatically also readers. Kindle has always been for readers. In fact, actually, I think it's got so much better in the last couple of years. And that's why I finally got one because of it. And now here's Amazon coming out with the brand new Kindle Scribe for writers. Well, Kindle Scribe anyway. Let me please race through what's good about the Kindle Scribe, because there's a lot, and then point out the things, the little aspects of those, make me suspect, no, not for writing. So, good things about the Kindle Scribe. The screen on the Kindle Scribe is 10.2 inches diagonally, and that's compared to the 6.8 inches of my Kindle Paperwhite. I think, for me, just knowing that it's 3.4 inches bigger, it doesn't give me much of a feel for it. But the closest thing I can do for me is, here's that Kindle Paperwhite next to my 11-inch iPad Pro. Now, speaking of screens and sizes and things, Kindle Scribe screen is an e-ink one, which means it's like the Paperwhite screen. Not black, not white, kind of grayscale. It's good. And this is definitely a very strong point. Kindle Scribe screen is 300 dots per inch, the same as on the Paperwhite. That was actually, it was that resolution that made me try Kindle again after, previously having looked at them and found them just too blotchy, too distractingly hard to read. The new Kindle Scribe comes with a stylus, a pen for writing on the Scribe's screen. Actually, there are two pens. One is a premium one, Amazon calls it a premium pen, that costs $30 extra, but one is free if you elect to go for that one. And neither need setting up, need charging. They just magnetically attach to the Kindle Scribe when you're not using them. Next, and hugely impressive, Amazon says that the battery life on Kindle Scribe is up to 12 weeks. So that's 2 weeks more than the already impressive Paperwhite. Impressive. You cannot fail to be impressed with that. Except, hang on a minute, I'll help you try. After we've told this one, which I think is the biggest thing of all, the biggest new thing about the Kindle Scribe, which is this. Amazon says that on the Kindle Scribe, you can write, you can annotate books, including Word documents that you send over to the Kindle. And actually related to that, let's give this as a third thing, Amazon promises that it will get easier to wirelessly sync documents like that. It's going to integrate with Word later. Plus, you can sign and annotate PDFs and tick off tasks on your to-do list. During the presentation, actually, an Amazon exec said that he no longer carries paper around with him to meetings. He just carries the Scribe. Okay. Thing is, even before the Kindle Scribe is actually out, well, it's certain that every part of this, all of these good things, absolutely, definitely true. But it is also already certain that, how can I say this? Amazon, it lists all these things, but it may not have completely finished every sentence it started. Actually, tell you what, let's do the easy one first. Let's just knock one thing straight out of the way. Battery life, 12 weeks? No, not even close. The Kindle Scribe will not run for 12 weeks, no matter what Amazon says. And I can say this to you with such certainty because Amazon also says, in a bit more of a whisper, really, that actually the battery lasts up to 12 weeks if you are only reading on the Kindle Scribe, not writing. And if you have the wireless set just so, not the wireless, the brightness set just so, but oh yeah, actually wireless. You've got to turn off the wireless thing completely. That thing that the Scribe is supposed to be making improvements, that's supposed to be better at for syncing documents, well, turn that off if you want any battery life at all. Oh, and here's the thing, only read for half an hour per day. For writing, all of this is true. You must set the brightness to quite a low level. You must turn the wireless thing off. You mustn't write for more than 30 minutes a day. If you do all of that, you get up to a maximum of, wait for this, 3 weeks of battery life. 3 weeks is less, and it's enough less than 12 weeks that that actually rankles with me. Plus, actually, let's work this out right now. 3 weeks is 21 days, isn't it? So half an hour per day means 30 minutes times 21 days. That's 630 minutes, which is about 10.5 hours. Next time anyone, including Amazon, maybe especially Amazon, tells you that the Kindle Scribe lasts for months where an iPad can only go for 10 hours, you are now officially and legally entitled to say bollocks. Kindle Scribe and iPad have practically the same battery life. Except for one thing. I'm not sure about this, but I believe this. If you left your Kindle Scribe and your iPad on a shelf on your desk for a month, I suspect, I'm pretty sure that the Kindle would work when you picked it back up again and the iPad wouldn't. I'm not sure, and I'll never leave either device alone long enough to find out, but I believe so. Let me also just quickly dismiss the entire to-do idea. I could be wrong on this one, and I so hope I am, but it appears that the to-do app on Kindle Scribe, it's like it's a blank page with some lines to handwrite some short tasks on and a bit of room down the side for checkboxes that you can tick when you've done these things. You're going to have a pretty easy or a very constrained life for that to be a useful to-do app. I did say, let's go back to a good thing. I did say the Kindle Scribe has a 300 dpi screen, and yet, no question, that is good. I like it. I can tell you that I like it because that's what's on the paperweight, and I like that. We can see how good it is already. And actually, talking about things not being what they seem, the iPad only has a 264 dpi screen. That's 36 fewer dots per inch. We are robbed. Apple is robbing us on the iPad. But look at the two screens. The iPad has the better screen, doesn't it? It just does. It does also have a glass front, which is what makes it very reflective. So actually Kindle Scribe wins there in the bright sunlight, glare and stuff, just as most Kindles do. Amazon has published some specifications for the Kindle Scribe, which also show that actually it's lighter than the iPad. Kindle Scribe comes in at 433 grams, where my iPad Pro there is 466 grams. I mean, there are other iPads, but all of them, they all weigh more than the Scribe. Weight shouldn't be a thing, not really. I mean, a bicycle, weighs less than an aircraft, and yet, yeah. But one of the reasons that I actually like reading books on my Kindle Paperwhite is how light the thing is. I kind of forget that it's in my hand. So weight is a thing, and Kindle Scribe does win for weight. If you really want to compare Kindles with iPads, though, well, there's another big area where Amazon device should win and has always won by a huge margin: the price. If you've ever looked into this, in the 15 years or whatever it is of Kindles, you know Kindles cost less than iPads. Just not anymore. The Kindle Scribe starts at $339 or £329, where a regular iPad starts at $329 or £319. The iPad is now cheaper than the Kindle Scribe. But then the Kindle Scribe does come with a pen. You can buy a more expensive Kindle Scribe pen, but by more expensive, it's only $30 extra. Whereas to use a stylus on the iPad, well, you don't get the option of a free one as you do with the Kindle Scribe. You have to buy one. You have to buy an Apple Pencil, and that costs either £99 or dollars or £129 or dollars. It's obviously more expensive, but also there are these two versions, which means you have to be careful to get the right Apple Pencil for your iPad. So it's expensive, and that's quite complicated. And then if you change the iPad and it doesn't match with the pencil, is it a new pencil? Yeah. On the other hand, the base iPad starts with 64 gigabytes of storage, and the Kindle Scribe ends with 64 gigabytes of storage. For the $300 a pound odd price of the Kindle Scribe, you get 16 gigabytes of storage space in it. I do know that 64 gigabytes is not enough for an iPad, because I've used them, because you use it for an iPad for documents and photos and videos and music and everything. I also know that the 8 gigabytes of a standard Kindle Paperwhite is more than enough, because you are only using it for reading ebooks. And most of your books, they stay online at Amazon. You just load up the ones you're reading now. I don't know, though, how much storage space you'll need for a Kindle Scribe, since, well, you won't be doing video, but you will be. If you can write on it, you must be creating documents in some form. You're going to be writing and adding things. I suspect, though, that you're not going to need much space, because I don't believe you can actually do much writing on the Kindle Scribe at all. This is one thing you and I have got to wait until we know more, until it's actually out and can see it before we can be sure. Except, no, we can be sure. Just based on everything Amazon has shown and shown off and said and shouted about, they clearly expect you to handwrite on the Scribe, only to handwrite. And actually, they don't expect you to handwrite all that much. I mean, I'm saying that partly because of that whole half an hour's writing a day kind of thing, but also because, I mean, surely they would chat about this if there were any handwriting recognition, so there presumably isn't. And I'm pretty certain there isn't a keyboard. We certainly have not seen a keyboard, although I imagine you can add an external one for it. All of Amazon's examples of great writing on the Kindle Scribe are really short. The to-do list, that is actually the closest to filling up an entire screen full, a whole page, if you like. Amazon does say, though, that it's working to make it easier to get documents on and off the Scribe. This thing that it's going to integrate with Microsoft Word, so that at some point, I believe before the end of this year, 2022, you'll be able to be using Microsoft Word and then send your document straight from that into your Kindle Scribe. It looks to me like they expect you to then mark up that Word document, to make standard editing marks rather than actually write or add to the text, though. So again, that's not writing, that's editing. One last thing that we can't know yet, because Amazon is not saying, we can't know how fast or slow the Kindle Scribe is. I mean, speed, okay, it's down to the processor and the screen and all sorts of things that you could possibly derive some information about from the technical specifications if you understood them, which I don't, or if Amazon published them. which it doesn't, not all of them. I'd like to see processor speed specifications this time, just to make some kind of comparison. Is it faster or slower than the Paperwhite? But in truth, specifications never matter to me. What matters to me is the feel of the device as we use it. Where the specific technical details, the specifications, they can give you a point of comparison, I suppose, but it's in use that you care, especially, I think, when you've come to any Kindle from an iPad, because iPads are fast. You're so used to it, you don't appreciate it. You come from an iPad to a Kindle, you want all devices to be fast in the sense that they are responsive. Coming to my Kindle Paperwhite from an iPad Pro, I was shocked actually how slow Kindle seems, and I haven't got over that. Months later, it still bothers me. I should say, if all of it was slow, if every bit of the Kindle was slow, well then it's so slow that I wouldn't be using the Kindle. But actually, it's fine when you're in a book, when you're reading, and the only thing you're doing is just turning the page every now and again. That's fine. So fine enough that I don't notice it, I don't think about speed, which is what I want for it. Anything else? Tapping any controls, changing the brightness, going through your library, bring sandwiches, yeah? And if you're writing on documents on the Kindle Scribe, documents that you're syncing back and forth to the Scribe, while you're doing that, you're loading them, you're tapping on documents, you're writing, you're going through your library of documents a lot. And I don't think that's going to be very, very fast. There's one moment in Amazon's promo video where you do see someone tap on a control. It's not great. It's not awful, but it's not great. And I really seriously wonder how irritating it will be when you need to tap many controls, one after another. Grief. I genuinely started off fancying a Kindle Scribe, and now I sound as against it as a jilted lover or a CEO of a rival technical company. Look, even I want to be proved wrong when the Kindle Scribe is out in people's hands. I long to be proved wrong because I like my Kindle Paperwhite very much. I am reading a lot more because I have it. But 12 weeks battery life? No. Cheaper? No. To do apps, seriously. And the biggest thing of all, by far the biggest thing, Kindle Scribe for writing on, seemingly not so much for writing on. Please let me be wrong. Is the new Kindle Scribe better for writers than an iPad? But it has a larger screen. It has still got the edge in bright sunlight. It's going to please a lot of people. I don't think you or I will be one of them, at least not in terms of using the Kindle Scribe as writers, to write on. And on that depressing, practically betrayed note, that's it for this edition, 58 Keys. Thank you very much for watching. Now take care of yourself, hey? Write more, read more as well. And I'll see you soon.